Place, which is the New York Sirens. Ooh, right. Today you had New York being in a playoff spot on your bingo card going into Olympic break. No. It's definitely not on mine. The Sirens have played 16 games and have got a current total of 24 points. Their record is 7-0-3-6-3. Bang on 0.500 points percentage. 37 goals scored, 41 conceded. Now to be discovered, 41 is the second highest conceded alongside Ottawa. Yeah, they conceded that amount of goals for the Charge. Right, so where do we start? I think you know where we start. This is going to be my hopes for the second half of the season. Right, we have to start net minding. The Sirens net minding the last two seasons have been atrocious. The way they've gone about the net minding strategy has been atrocious. Now, this is why we basically said in the draft that the Sirens need to draft another netminder because obviously Carisha got taken by the Yeah, they did that, but what was the point? And it was also the homophobe. Oh, let's not go there! Can we please, let's not go there. Let's not go there. Okay, as long as he doesn't play it at Ball Arena, it'll be fine. Let's not go there, please. Okay, so Kaylee Osbourne, all three of us collectively agree with we all thought was going to be the starter for New York this season. We didn't think she would be the only starter for New York this season. Because of those 16 games, I think Kaylee Osbourne's only not played in just one. And we have done a burst episode on this, and that was where you build that was about the homophobe. But yeah, and I mean, you don't normally see a team do this, but put the same netminder in night in, night out. And I think what the people who like this will say, well, it's only 30 games, but that's the regular season. Then when you get into the playoffs, that's where you need to rely on your netminders the most. And Kate Osborne's not able to, provide the goods because she spent, the majority of the season in the net. Well, then that's your own damn fault. You didn't trust your upper netminder. Well, if we get 4 expansion teams next season, we know where they're going to be targeted for netminders. Yeah, because the Sirens, right now, the other 2 netminders the Sirens, they're just being wasted. Yeah, it's like their contributions aren't being valued by the Sirens organization, and I don't know what Pascal's thinking in the GM position, but seriously, he and Greg Barger, they need to realise you can't keep running the same netminder night in, night out. You've got to switch it up. Yeah. I mean, it's good you've got a trusted starting netminder in Kaylee Osbourne, but you need to ensure to have that backup. Especially if when we get more games on the schedule, we get more back-to-backs. It's like, you can't basically be having 2 men down like that, 2 women down like that, and on the literally stone cold event, and then out of nowhere you throw them in. Yeah, so it's dead like that. Yeah, that been plumbed up properly. I think so. Okay. But it's like, you can't just have basically two players literally like this. Just being on the bench. Yeah, like that. Yeah. You can't really have 2 like that. Well, of course, the rule is you have to dress 3 netminders. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. But basically, with a size like that, it's basically Kaylee Osbourne. The other 2 are basically just doing this. I'll do it one more time. Basically, just this. Just on the bench, staying bench cold. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a great look. It's really not a great look. A bit what's interesting with the Sirens, though, is they drafted hard in that draft. They got the most picks. They got 9 picks in total. They did look, they did a lot of trading on the floor. Yeah, they did a lot of trading on the floor, which actually did make you bowl overboard. Yeah, one of them. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was, but one of them had you literally just what you did, just bowled over. Yeah. But yeah, so they weren't heavy. It was almost as if some of the sides were acting as if they were a team in a lengthy rebuild. Yeah. But you can't really say you're in a lengthy rebuild when it's only season 3 and you have yet to make the playoffs. Yeah, it's just like, but that's me. It's kind of how it felt to me what the Sirens were doing over the summer, and it just kind of it feels a bit strange in a way because I don't think any of these teams right now are in rebuild position because, like I said, the league is only 3 years old. Yeah, and they drafted well. I mean, when they made that first overall pick, I think we were all baffled. And we were all like, ooh, well, you went into the draft, you'd just done the Gold Plan episode, you basically named that you would take Kaylee Osbourne first and let Hayley Winters go to Boston. Yeah. So I think we all expected that was going to happen. But little did we know what the Sirens were going to do. And of course, it made sense because Christina Katzenogaba has got connections to Colgate, where Greg Bogger had successfully coached. Yes, it all made sense in the end. And speaking of Katzenogaba, she is currently leading the way in terms of goals right now. Yeah, which is really impressive. I still don't think that's enough to put in the conversation for Rookie Year. So if she wants it, she's going to have to do more than that. But I think we all go back to the case of mine. When that happened, I think all three was like, oh my god. It's Kaylee Osbourne going to go to the Sectors! Yeah. Because there was no way Boston was going to give up the chance to draft Hayley Wynn. No way. So, obviously, Toronto was supposed to then go third. So, we're like, oh my god, is she going to go to the Sectors? And then, of course, and then along comes Cassie to deliver the first trade of the night. Yeah. And then, of course, it all made sense. Yeah. It all then made sense. Either way, the Sirens are kind of proving us they knew what they were doing. Yeah. But Kaylee Osbourne has had a bit of a slow start, I think. Yeah, I mean, apart from that massive hat-trick in Dallas, hasn't really done as well as I think she could have done. Yeah, so I think the Sirens have proven why they went the route they did. Yeah, but when you draft like that, you really should be in the conversation to be top of the league. Yeah, and yet they are currently 4th place, 6 points behind the league leaders. Yeah, and as we mentioned, Ottawa who is in 5th place. They're only 2 points behind New York. It takes 2 more regulation wins and they're in charge of back in business. Yeah. So, but then again, it kind of feels like the Sirens first half similar to what they had last year. They start off well, it looks promising. Then that second half comes around and that's when they falter. But that was largely about the second half of last season. They had a lot of injuries. Yeah. And I don't know, because well, you've been saying the fight feels like for the World Cup playoffs, it feels like it's between these 5 teams, the current top 5. Yeah. And we are trying to figure out who's going to miss out of that top 5. Yeah. Yeah, and I think for me, you ask me right now of the top 5, who do I think would not get into the playoffs? I think it would be New York. I just don't think New York has bolstered up enough to convince me. I mean, yeah, great, you're taking strides, but I kind of feel like that's all they are right now. You're improving, and I think maybe it might be next season is when that will be the Sirens season to really make a splash. They could get close, closer than they've ever been before, but I think if you'd ask me, right, because I know you two are debating this, but if you were to ask me right now, out of these 5, who do you think's not going to get in? I would say the Sirens. And then we have 2 semi-final finals of rematches, because Boston's not going to take over. No. No. Would be 2 epic rematch, not right? I know, especially as Ottawa's having our number right now. Yeah, so I kind of feel New York. I am pleased that they are going in the right direction. It's just, I just still feel like there's just not enough there yet to convince me that this team is on the cusp of a playoff berth. Now, we all know things can change. There is still a second half of the season to come. And that's what makes this break interesting compared to breaks the World Championships. But something I want to talk about. Now, you brought up about Ottawa's kryptonite. And how they turn it around. But I'm looking at this at the record. The Sirens have yet to win in overtime or a shootout. And that, all of the Sirens wins so far, all 7 of them, have come in regulation. Now, of course you need to build up those regulation wins, that's good. But you also need to find ways, and we talked about how Boston did this last season, Ottawa's doing it right now. You've also got to find ways to get points. So even if there's a game where it looks like you can't get the 3 points, you will at least try to force the OT to then go and get points. Regardless, because obviously if you go to OT, you're guaranteed at least a point, which is better than going with getting nothing. So the Sirens, they're not putting themselves in a position where they can get points in regardless of the outcome. Because this first half, it doesn't matter if you get an OT loss or a shutout loss. At least you got something from it. When we get to end of March, beginning of April, that's when you start thinking, right, we've got to go all in. We've got to go for broke. Because there's 3-4 weeks to go until playoffs. And interesting how Cersei's not scoring enough as she did last year. She's not built. She was up doing Harry Knight last year in terms of the points leaders. And she's not really having the season that she had this time last year. She's not really building on that rookie campaign. Whereas a Bill Fitz and Jen Gardner, who were her fair nominees, they are. Yes, well, you could argue that obviously Jen Gardner got a fresh start in Vancouver. Okay. So you could argue that. Yeah, you're right, because obviously she was seen as a big star going into that 2024 draft. Generational player that was being playing times in the NHL the last few seasons. Yeah. And yet, it's almost like she's gone down rather than up. And, which makes you wonder, is the chemistry right now in New York working? I mean, we talked about that with the expansion teams. Is it working with New York and, well, just in New York, and with all the picks they made and all the transactions they had to deal with? Because obviously they lost big in terms of obviously both Abby Rock and Air Shelton, who initially was protected in expansion process. Protected expansion process was on our list, protection list, and then obviously got traded in the draft. Yeah, is it? Yeah, I think that might be the problem here. The Sirens, their chemistry maybe isn't as strong as they might think it is. But they are getting production, across the board. I mean, they got 37 goals. In fact, let's see, is that where did that put them? The goal scored. That's actually the 3rd highest. So that's actually the 3rd highest. I know you're thinking Ottawa and New York got more scored more goals than Boston. Crazy, but we're not there yet. We're not at Boston just yet. I know, crazy, right? But yeah, I feel like. Do you feel like New York is making the right moves? If they can sort of net mine out, then yeah, because I just feel like if you can get a stable net mine duo, then I think that would put them on a really good step. But yeah, there is one more thing I want to talk about, and that is power play. Yeah, the New York's power play, it's atrocious. Yeah, it's atrocious. They're not capitalizing on it at all. Now, we of course have had problems with the power play, but we do find a way to cash in now and then. New York just aren't doing well at all. They are seriously struggling on their power play. And this could really hit them down the line. Yeah, but they have found a way to get a jailbreak goal. Yeah, but yeah, I agree, the power play, it's not. And we mentioned it several times on first games. What if we lose? What's the big thing you circle? Power play. Like Alexis said it many times. I know. But yeah, so it's interesting, because the penalty kill's alright, but the power play is where you really will be hitting 5-on-0 hitters, and they're just not doing that. Yet they've got Theo, Brian, and Carlton Okabar. No, it's not doing. No, it's not working. No. So yeah, but I think power play. That's So that's interesting for me. I've been well. Well, YouTube already got your hopes for the second half. It's kind of thought we just go straight to that. Well, I think New York, it's fairly obvious what they need to do in the second half to tie her up. Okay, well, let's just go straight to that. Yeah, right, kick us off. Power play. My hopes for New York in the second half of the season is that power play improves because the power play is the big sticking bit factor right now in why New York is not really where they should be as the standings. This team feels like it should be a top 2 team, but it's not playing like a top 2 team, mainly because of the power play. So my hopes for the second half is the power play improves a lot more. My second hope is that Kaylee Osbourne gets less starts. Normally you don't say about it. Like, no, you want more players to get more starts, but that's the first. Needs to have less starts. Give the other 2 a go. Otherwise, it looks like what Plur did and lie down on the job. And I think my hope for the second half of the season, I know Plur shares this, is that the Sirens are not in contention with the goal plan. Yes, please! Because I think you're in agreement that if the Sirens win the goal plan again, it's going to look bad for the league. Yeah. We should just do a playoff tournament for the gold plan. Well, you can talk about that another time. But yeah. But I hope the Sirens. So my hopes going into the second half of the season size is that they are competitive and they don't need to then compete for the gold plan again this year.